Hi there, it's Sandra with the Brew City Thrifts. Today I am at the Goodwill of Pewaukee. It is a Monday after work. It's been a very rainy day here, but there's a break in the clouds, so I'm going to hop in and see what they have for us. Let's hit it. This Goodwill has their vases right up front, and one of the first things I notice is this extra tall, clear, crackled glass goblet. It's very pretty, and I don't know how useful it is with that long stem, but the thought of shipping it makes it a little bit terrifying for me as I'm trying to make sure it stands up. So I do leave it on the shelf. So lots of things to look at today. I noticed this hand painted, it looks like a planter, but it had an interesting two pieces to it. I just checked it out briefly. Then I noticed, oops, what am I doing? Looking at that ruby vase in the back, I guess. And then I back out and I notice this. This is a misplaced dog bowl. Sometimes misplaced items are worth a second look, but this one I leave. This is a nice vintage lidded jar. Looking at a small transferware vase. This piece of pottery has some heft to it. It's probably relatively contemporary, just looks a little beat up from being outside. This was an interesting pot. It was made in Cambridge, Wisconsin. That's where Rowe pottery is made. This was not Rowe pottery. It was called Wisconsin pottery, so I don't know that brand. I'll have to look that one up. I liked the design on this pot. It's probably like a Teleflora. It's called My Gift, but there was a chip on it, but I did like the kind of hobnail look to it. This was a signed piece of pottery. I'm going to guess this is a hobbyist piece. It was made in 2006. Not in bad shape, kind of a plain design. Not bad, I just wasn't feeling it today. Another pottery vase, and this pot is, I'm pretty sure this is Italian hand painted flower pot. I do like it, but some of my Italian flower pots do sit for a while, so I've got a couple in my inventory I need to move. I liked this vase. This was again pottery and relatively simple, but a lovely light green with the cream colored band at the top. Really pretty. Another day I might have taken it, but I left it this day. This was a white milk glass and green swirl vase. There were a pair in a very simple column design or pillar design, but in a nice heavy glass. And then I noticed behind it this is a bottle that is called Horseshoe Bitters, which I think looks like it could be vintage and interesting. I looked it up. It wasn't too special, so I left it behind. But I decided I was going to take the matching green glass vases. I was thinking about it, but I did like the design. I liked that there was a pair and that they were glass. And so those are the first things in my cart. Sort of out of place is this really beautiful crystal diamond pattern glass pineapple paperweight. It was really heavy. The bottom was polished and it was a nice size. And I felt, I don't know, I didn't see a signature. I don't think it was maybe like a Swarovski or anything like that. But it was a good quality piece of crystal and a pretty design. And so that went in my cart. On this shelf, I noticed that little tiny pottery pot, little tiny pottery bud vase. And I think the drip glaze is very nice. I'm looking to see if it's signed, and there is a little signature there. It says Garrett. Well, Garrett did a good job. This is a really sweet little bud vase. Nice glaze. And I decided I'm going to take it, and then below it I see trapped under some metal I see this interesting giraffe. It is a votive holder. It is abstract design, which you may know I like when I'm looking at animals. I like abstract designs. And I think I'm going to put it in my cart and think about it because it's contemporary, but I'm kind of interested. So it goes in my cart too. I've had some good fortune in the past with some wooden barware accessories. And so these boxes caught my eye. Mouton Cadet. Now, I am obviously not a French speaker. Please forgive me. Anyway, these wooden boxes, they looked like they could be interesting. They're selling for $4.99. I looked them up. The prices are all over the place, but there were significantly more unsold than sold, so I left them. I was scanning the dinnerware area and I noticed this bowl. I'd already pulled it off the shelf. This has a lovely hand painted teapot with some lemons. It looks like it's near a sunny kitchen window. There is a little chippy there on one of the handles. And turning it over, it is by Sud Company, and says Cassis in Provence in France, and it looks like a hand painted French bowl. And I was not familiar with this brand, but I did like the painting and I did like the look of it. So I popped it in the cart and was pleasantly surprised when I looked it up online later. In the tchotchke area, I am scanning for unusual items and I noticed this angel because she looked like she could be blue sky pottery, maybe made by Heather Goldmink, and in fact, she is. This is a Blue Sky Pottery Works piece by Heather Goldmink and Angel. So I put it in my cart because there looks to be another one on the same shelf. This is also Blue Sky Pottery. In this case, it looks to be like maybe in monk or a medieval guy or Bacchus stomping grapes. I'm not sure who it's supposed to be. It's it's an interesting piece, just wasn't quite as attractive to me, not as interesting. So I put it back on the shelf. Then I picked up this box. This is a cardboard box by Lang. And I've mentioned before that I do pretty well with nicely designed cardboard boxes. In this case, even though that originally held candles, I thought it was a really pretty design on it and the shape was interesting as well. So I thought I would take a chance on that Lang box. I also took a quick look at that brass leaf and then I moved on. I noticed this large glass sculpture. It is of a dolphin breaching the waves. It's nice. Looking at the bottom, you see the remnants of a sticker that says made in China. That doesn't mean it might not sell for a nice penny, but they are asking $10. So I moved to the shelf below where this amazing hand-carved wooden bust was. Now, you know that I love things made out of wood. I also loved hand-carved things, and really what attracts me sometimes is the grain of the wood, the actual wood. And in this case, I thought the grain on this piece was just stunning with those striations of light brown and dark brown. This seems to be African and is nicely done. I like the design of the hair. And so I just really enjoyed the wood, as well as it was a nice carved piece. It was super heavy. There was a tiny little chip on it, but I thought this was a gorgeous piece. So that went into my cart. I shouldn't be here in the mug aisle, but I am. And my eye is first caught by this Star Wars mug. Of course, I have, okay, that'll look. But then I noticed this mug next to it because of the phrase rise and shine. That is something that my mother used to say to me and my sisters when she was getting us up for the bus in the morning for school. And so I thought this was a really cute mug, and I decided it might make a nice gift for my sister. Among the china sets, I noticed this bowl just mostly because it's out of place, and I also thought it might be Fitz and Floyd, but it is not. Still a pretty cheery piece, but I decided to look elsewhere. I noticed this hand-thrown pottery bowl. It has an unusual glaze. It is signed on the back. And I'm sorry, I'm not giving you a great shot of the signature, but it's signed. And it's got those two little things on the side, which I'm assuming is some sort of utensil holder. And I decide that it's worth looking into further. I also noticed this pretty little Bavarian shaker. It's got the cork stopper and it's gilded on top. It's fairly plain. It's a nice piece, but I ended up deciding without the match I would leave it. In the kitchenware aisle, I am looking at different things, looking for a treasure. Little candy heart trinket dish, kind of out of place over here. Reaching back to the other shelf, I had noticed this pottery crock. From the bottom, it looks to have some age, and its design seems like it is an older piece. I like that it has those little striations in the side, those little marks on the side, and the little handles. Those are maybe handle depressions for something else. I'm not sure. Whatever it was, I liked it and I decided I was going to take it with me. In the cookware area, I noticed this cute cookie jar behind it, some triangular serving plates with a nice leaf, embossed leaf on them. I noticed this glass. It looks like the top of a fairy lamp to me, but no remaining pieces to be found. And then I noticed this pretty piece of pottery. It's an apple baker. It's handmade and it is by TBP Pottery. And I decided with that pretty glaze, I think I have to take it with me. I wrestled out this pretty pink depression glass bowl, or it looks to be, could be depression glass. It's a nice bowl. They are asking a little bit more than I can pay for reselling, so it does go back on the shelf, but this was definitely a pretty piece. A collector might be very excited to find this. It's cart review time. Let's review our cart, shall we? Here are some baskets that I will probably be taking into work. Here are the pair of white and green swirled glass vases. Here is it turns out to be, I think, a Pier 1 giraffe votive holder. I end up putting that back on the shelf. Next to it is this crystal pineapple, multifaceted, very pretty. And I end up taking that with me. Here is that small hand-thrown bud vase with the pretty green and brown glazes. This is actually a hearth and hand mug with the words rise and shine on them. That is meaningful to my family, so that's something I'm probably going to give my sister. This is the hand-thrown bowl with the utensils holder on the side. Here is the Heather Goldmink angel ornament. This is the Lang & Company cardboard box with the pretty butterfly design. It's the Primitives line. Here is the apple baker, hand thrown with a really lovely blue teal glaze at the top. This is what I think is an antique crock, just a plain brown glaze. I love me a good crock, and I love this little guy. I don't know if I can lift this out. I don't think I can, so I'm just going to point out the lovely hand-carved wooden bust with the wonderful green on it. So pretty. And finally, the find of the day, I think, is this hand-painted French bowl by Sud Company. Lovely. It's signed. It's a lovely discovery. Those can bring pretty good money, and even though it's got a little chip, I think it's going to make me a decent profit. So I was happy to find that bowl as well. And that is it for this trip. Not a bad haul, if I do say so myself. What do you guys think? So I think we got some cool things today. We found some older things today, which was kind of nice. I'm especially thrilled with that Sud Company Cassis en Provence bowl. My pronunciation, I'm sure, is hurting people's ears. I have no idea how to really pronounce that. Anyway, I thought it was a very cool bowl, and those sold prices range typically from, especially for the terracotta pieces, range from $50 on up. So I know mine has a little bit of damage, but I'm hoping I still can do pretty well with that. And then the other thing, I was really excited to find that large wooden hand-carved bust. That is, I think it's really cool and gorgeous. And also has a tiny bit of damage, but I think it's very forgivable in the large scheme of things. The prices, the sold prices for those also are all over the place. I have no idea if this is relatively valuable or not. Doesn't matter. I like it. I am interested in hand-carved wooden items, and if they stay with me for the rest of time, that's just fine. So I was really happy to find that. And so I hope you had a good time with me today. Like my channel, subscribe, and comment, and thrift on. We will do this again soon.